to do the homework assignment handed out. So I've got a demo of the worksheet here. I have filled in for myself 4 possible things. Mine mostly, other than the reflection over the x-axis, would not have been ones that you would have gotten on the cards, I don't think. So nobody should end up looking exactly like mine. And we'll do one of these just so that you know what's going on. So we're transforming the function f of x equals absolute value of x. If you remember, the parent function arrow for that looks like this. Feeds in a -1, 0, and 1, and comes out as a 1, 0, and a 1. Those are what we're going to need to make the graphs for these. So we're going to start out with that. I'm going to go through and look at the transformations that I have and decide which ones are vertical and which ones are horizontal. A shift down 3, that's vertical. Up and down is vertical. This says vertical in it, so that's vertical. A reflection over the x-axis. I've got my x-axis and I'm reflecting a point here that changes its vertical position, so that's also vertical on this one. And shifting right 5, left and right is horizontal. So this tells me I'm going to need 3 arrows for vertical transformations and 1 for a horizontal transformation. So I'll leave a little bit more room to the right than to the left and put my parent function in here. And then I need 1 arrow coming this way for the horizontal, and I need 3 arrows going this way for the vertical. And arrow diagram for A, B, C, D means do A first, then B, then C, then D. You'll see for other problems I've scrambled those around so that you'll do them in a different order. Sometimes that will change things, sometimes it won't. But that's all part of learning this and figuring out what's important. So shifting down 3, that's a subtraction for a shift, and down is the negative. Stretch vertically by 4, so we're going to multiply by 4. And then a reflection, I've already decided it goes over here. Reflection is a sign change. And then shifting to the right 5 is going to mean adding 5 in there. So hopefully you can zoom into that if you need to. I will, now that I have those in, I am going to zoom in a little bit more, and I'll move that over there so you can see it just a little bit bigger with what's going on there. Alright, so if I want to make the graph, then let me go ahead and write the function first. If I'm going to do the function, I'm going to start with x here, and I need a path from the left all the way to the right. I don't have that arrow yet, so I'm going to build that arrow, and then I'll have 5 left to right arrows. This one should be a -5 on there. So if I start with the x, it says take the x, subtract 5 in that first arrow, then put that inside of the absolute values. That's with the next arrow. This one says take everything you have and subtract 3 from it. This next arrow says multiply everything you have by 4, so we'll do that. And then this last arrow says change the sign on everything, so we'll put a negative out in front of that. Now I could do a little distributive property, make that a -4 times the absolute value of x minus 5, and it would be a +12. And I can say this, I'll call that g of x, is my transformed function. Okay, the points that will be on that, let me see if I can clean that focus up just a little bit. Points that are going to be on there, I'm going to put my key points of -1, 0, and 1. This becomes a 1, 0, 1. Subtract 3 is a -2, -3, -2. Multiply all those by 4. So -8, -12, and -8. And change the signs on them, and I get an 8, 12, and 8. And over here, I just have to add 5 onto everything, so that's going to make this a 4, 5, and 6. So the points that I should plot are 4, 8, 12 is going to have trouble fitting on here, but 1, 2, 3, 4, comma, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 goes right there. And my 5 is over 1 and up 12. I'm going to have to go up about to here to get my, so this one in here was the point 4 comma 8. This is the point 5 comma 12. And then I'm going to have another point at 6 comma 8. My parent function was absolute value. It should be in the shape of a V, and I can see exactly where that V should be. It's going to come from here down this direction. Should have grabbed a ruler, and from here down this direction. Ooh, I really am unhappy with how not straight that is, but that's where that graph should go. Okay. And then when you do the next one, you'll probably discover shortly that the structure of the arrows will be the same. It's just the order that you write things on them that will be different. And certainly you might end up with 3 horizontals and 1 vertical, or 2 of each. So it's not necessarily going to look exactly like mine, but that is the pattern for how we do this.